Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another rendition of Angel Talk. Today, I want to talk about protecting your ride, so security measures, basically, because the new statistics have come out in regarding to bike safety in 24 in the UK. So up until August 2024. Most motorcycles that get nicked are 125s, whether they're mopeds or 125 starter bikes. Just a story of mine. I had a beautiful Honda CB125R, and I parked it at a friend's house overnight, I put it to two concrete pillars, at the front and at the back. I had a 10mm at the back and I think an 8mm at the front. And I got to it the next morning and I realised that the front chain, the chain inside the sleeve, had been, I didn't realise it had been cut at the time. I just thought it was just rusty and it had just fallen out. So just the security of that was just the sleeve, the black sleeve, whereby the chain was still inside. So I was just really confused by that at the time. But I didn't think much of it. I thought, just cheap chain, never mind. But then a little while later, when I'd locked my motorcycle up again, I looked at my rear chain and I realised massive big teeth marks on my rear chain. I thought to myself, now it wasn't just the bonding element of where the chain comes together, it was actually caused by at least 3-foot bolt cutters that somebody put down their puffer boohoo jacket or something. Okay, so that for me was a massive big wake-up call, because then I realised that it's my front chain hadn't rusted, my front chain had been cut. And of course the first thing I did was go out, order stuff, do some research on not just the millimeters of chain but also the quality of the metal used, because soft metal, even if you've got a 10mm chain, 3-foot bolt cutters will get through it quite easy. So 125s are the ones they aim for the most, usually most of the time, because they're not really particularly proficient motorcycle riders and can't actually handle the power. I remember when my cousin's motorcycle was stolen, and the dude who stole it was going too fast, went straight over a T-junction and went straight through a brick wall. Not so lucky fella, but it was also a bit of a daft thing to do. So let's look at some So before we dive into the numbers, let's quickly cover the best ways to keep your beloved motorcycle safe and sound. Now, of course, obviously, as we discussed just now, invest in a high quality lock, disc locks, chain locks, ideally Thatcham approved, and ground anchors your first line of defence. And use multiple types of locks for added security. Now, obviously, alarm and immobiliser, good alarm system with immobiliser can deter thieves and alert you to potential tampering. And consider Thatcham or Oxford approved systems for insurance benefits as well. Okay, so that's quite handy. GPS trackers, it's so easy nowadays. You don't even need a subscription. I mean, if you've got a really expensive bike, I'd go for a subscription where the police are notified straight away. But nowadays with technology, you can just sync your bike up to your mobile phone or your iPad or your computer, and you're going to know exactly where your bike is. Okay, so Android makes that possible, Apple makes that possible. So absolutely, get with the technology. Secure parking is an absolute no-brainer. But guys, always lock your bike up. Even if just going inside, stick on a disc lock if you've just briefly left it outside to go to the toilet, because it really just for a person who knows what they're doing, it takes them a couple of seconds to get it. Now, bike covers, very useful, because people are not going to generally steal stuff if they don't know what is actually underneath. So wrap it up nicely. You can mark your bike forensically, but I'm not going to massively go into that. But obviously, always be vigilant. Vigilance will always keep your bike safe. Now, let's move over to the good news. Overall, things are getting better. Now, across most of the UK, motorcycle thefts are actually gone down by almost 8% compared to the previous year. Now, guys, that's a significant drop. Now, this good trend has been happening for a while, so theft levels are much lower than what they were some years back. So that's a really, really good thing. Now, the not so good news is London is still a massive problem. I mean, when I travel to London, if I ever travel to London, I have got a rucksack and I've got some big chains in there, some locks, and by the way, when mentioning alarms and everything else, you don't have to have an alarm attached to your actual motorcycle, because that kind of can drain your battery quite quickly. You got alarms on your disc locks, your boss locks, and everything else. And why not have two of everything? Why not be extra secure? Because the thing is, if you are seen to be extra secure, motorcycle thieves are going to decide it's not worth the hassle. I will just nick the motorcycle a couple of motorcycles away from where you've parked yours. Okay, so just make it less attractive to them. Okay. Now, Wales has had a massive jump. Okay. Not so much the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, but yeah, that's just another story for another day. But thefts went up by about nearly 15% in Wales. Now, even though fewer bikes are being stolen overall, unfortunately fewer bikes are being found. So guys, remember, chip your bike. Get a tracker in there. They are not expensive. Android ones, Apple ones, subscriptions, because it suggests that because fewer motorcycles are being recovered, there's a good chance that they are actually just being stolen and shipped out of the country. Okay, so all this kind of data, what does this actually mean for us? Well, most of the UK is seeing improvements, which is great. Okay, so keep up the security habits, everyone. But if you're in London and Wales, you need to be extra careful. Thieves are still very active in these areas. Now, no matter who you are, good security is still essential, because you can't always back on the fact that people know who you are. Okay, so even with the overall decrease, bikes are still being stolen. Now, if you are a person who indulges in other people's goods, a gentle reminder. As we navigate our lives, let's remember the principle of treating others as we wish to be treated ourselves. Just as we cherish our own rights and the freedom they bring, let's respect the property of others. And taking something that isn't yours causes pain and hardship. You got to remember that. You got to think about that. What would you be like in that situation? And the spirit of kindness and fairness that underpins our faith, let's always choose the path of honesty and integrity. Well, for me anyway. Let's keep our hands off what belongs to others and build a community based on respect and trust. Societies in many areas of the world are literally built on the 10 Commandments. One of them is don't steal. Okay, that's always a good one. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today. This is Angel Talk, and remember, it's not just about the destination, but it's also about the journey. I'll see you in the next one.